Hello. Hello, Ma'am Shay. Ma'am
Yes
Shay.
po.
Nauna ka pa nga eh.
Yes. Kasi baka po mamaya malibang ako kasi busy-busyhan sa mga mga gawaing pang-ASEAN.
Ah,
Kaya nag-login na po ako.
oo.
Recorded pala
Sige.
to.
I'm sorry.
No worries po.
Good afternoon po, Dr. Cabrera.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Enya. Teacher Mai.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
After po.
Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Afternoon po, sir.
Okay, may I request everyone to please turn on their cameras na po as we're about to start. Okay, let us start po. To our dearest guest speaker, school principal, vice principals from each department, teachers and staff, good afternoon to all. I am Enya Sofia Beatriz Lardizabal, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar entitled Inspiring Honesty, Putting Forward Integrity and Probity. Before we continue, here are a few gentle reminders. As much as possible, please keep your cameras on and microphones muted throughout the duration of this program. And number two, be aware that this meeting is being recorded for documentation purposes. Without further ado, let us begin by invoking the presence of our God with this short opening prayer. Dear Almighty God, you have showered us with so many blessings, and your presence continuously reminds us of your faithfulness and guidance. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and learn in this webinar. We humbly ask you to shower our speaker today with your greatest inspiration so that he may share the most of his knowledge, heart, and soul to these respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge imparted so that we may embrace and put these all into practice. All of these we ask in your most precious name. Amen. To get us all worked up and ready for the seminar, may I call on our esteemed principal, Dr. Alexander S. Acosta, to give us his welcoming remarks. Please give him a virtual clap reaction.
Thank you very much, Anya. Thank you so much, Office of the Student Affairs. To our speaker today, Dr. Wendell Cabrera, to our faculty and staff who are with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good afternoon to all of us. The reason why we are having this virtual gathering with our seminar entitled Inspiring Honesty, Putting Forward Integrity and Probity. We need you, my dear teachers, to somehow radiate the message of honesty that is practiced in the school and on the whole package of who we are for ourselves and for our students in building our relationship with others. All these encompass the real you when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to dealing with your students and with your parents, with our parents, with our colleagues. So there is a significant element that has to be rebuilt in us, that has to be renewed in us as a person, of which our speaker has the expertise to share his knowledge about the topic that we're going to tackle today. I know that we are all busy with overlapping schedules and tasks, but I'm also still very grateful for your presence this afternoon, for taking time to attend this seminar sponsored by the Office of the Student Affairs. I'd like to thank you for your presence today. Highest vote of thanks goes to our speaker, Dr. Cabrera, for sparing his time to be with us this afternoon. Although it's already 1 o'clock, I think it's already 6 o'clock in the evening in the Philippines, right? 6. So I know that this is extra time and effort for our speaker to be with us this afternoon. From the bottom of my heart and for and on behalf of the school management, Dr. Wendell Cabrera, I'd like to welcome you to Philippine School Doha, and we thank you so much for responding to our invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Dr. Acosta. Now, may I call on our VP OSA, Ma'am Melissa R. Montaire, to give the honors in introducing our speaker for today.
To our school principal, Dr. Alexander S. Acosta, to the vice principals of the different departments, teaching and non-teaching staff, PSDNs, good afternoon. It is with great honor to introduce to you our resource speaker for this online seminar. He is an accomplished, well-established expert, beyond proficient and multi-awarded individual in the field of education with high-level qualifications. A licensed and certified professional with various roles in education and has published numerous articles and researches and granted with scholarships. His educational background includes the following: postgraduate Doctor of Education, major in Educational Management at the Pampanga State Agricultural College, Master of Arts in Education, major in Values Education, a silver medalist at the University of Asia and the Pacific, completed academic requirements in Masters of Arts in Education, major in Educational Management, and obtained his college degree in Bachelor of Science, major in Psychology at Angeles University Foundation. At a young age, he had already shown his outstanding quality and flying colors by graduating with honors in his secondary and elementary education. Being a multi-awarded individual, the following recognition and awards were given to him, granted with 4 honorary degrees, honoris causas. 2021 Doctor of Public Administration by Theophany University in Haiti and Leaders Autonomy International. 2021 Doctor of Theology by Faculdades Unidas de Brazil and Leaders Autonomy International. 2021 Doctor of Psychology in Integrative Human Psychology by International Parliament for Safety, Peace and Justice and Leaders Autonomy International, and in 2020, Doctor of Humanities in Social Work by Theophany University in Haiti. Moreover, in 2019 and 2018, he was awarded with Fellow Royal Institute of Management and Fellow Royal Institute of Educators, respectively by the Royal Institution Singapore. He was also a 2018 regional nominee for the Civil Service Commission Pagasa Awards individual category. He also received numerous awards from the Department of Education Region 3, Philippines, where he held various positions and acquired professional experiences, attended specialized trainings, international, national, regional, division seminars, and been a consistent member in different professional organizations. My colleagues, my PSD family, our speaker for this afternoon is from the city of Angeles, Pampanga. Let us give our virtual heart reactions to show our warm welcome to our very own, the Chief of the Field Technical Assistance Division of the Department of Education, Region 3, Dr. Wendell C. Cabrera.
Thank you, ma'am, for that kind introduction. Let me share my screen with you. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum. Uh, so peace be upon you. Do you hear me? Everyone, do you hear me? Is my
Yes, sir.
okay? Thank you very much. Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank the administration and staff of the Philippine School Doha, most especially so your principal, Dr. Acosta, and of course, Ma'am Myla, the prefect of discipline, and Ma'am Melissa Montairo, the VP of OSA, for the invitation to engage with you in this virtual webinar. It is my honor and pleasure to be of service to you. Today's engagement, as the invitation sent to me shows, is entitled Inspiring in Honesty, Putting Forward Integrity and Probity, is, I think, very relevant and timely for us as educators. Hence, I subtitled it Creating a Culture of Honesty and Integrity in the Classroom. I believe that it is important that after this 1 hour or so of sharing with you would not just happen today, but it becomes really a culture or a way of life for all of us. Making it happen and ensuring that it happens is, I think, my gauge or measure of the success of this activity today. Although I was introduced and I really appreciate those kind words of introduction, let me just say something about myself.
Excuse me po,
I,
sir.
yes.
Sorry po to interrupt you, sir, before you continue. You're sharing po ata with the speaker's notes po instead of the presentation itself, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay po, sir.
Let me share it again. Okay. So let me share with you myself. Okay. So I have been in the Department of Education for almost 27 years. And my experience in the Department of Education have let me grow wherever I am, wherever I was assigned in different capacities as an educator. But prior to my uh, stint at the Department of Education, I also taught at the different colleges, private universities at Angles City. And now uh, it has been my uh, it has been my motto or my guiding principle to bloom where I am planted. And those challenges that I have met gave me chance to really grow, and wherever I am to bloom and to exercise and show the skills and competencies that I have acquired through my uh, years of experience. And now, as chief of the education, the chief of the Field Technical Assistance Division, the Department of Education, I we try to assist teachers, especially in these times of the pandemic, uh, and guide them and to ensure that in the field of education, particularly at Region 3, education would continue despite this pandemic. So as a start, let me share with you this video.
I find you guilty, and you will be convicted.
Only you can write your future. Hey Glenn, I've got something for you.
We are so proud of you.
Eat more.
Glenn, sit down! Glenn!
Glenn, you have the courage to be different. Only you can write your future.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Kumar, please join me on stage.
Okay. Can I have uh, someone to give me some a sharing of one or two of their thoughts about the video that I have shared with you? Anyone? Sorry, because I could not see you. Anyone who would want to share? I'll stop sharing muna. Okay. So anyone, because I could not see you in the screen, so I stopped sharing muna. Okay. So anyone who would want to give her or his thoughts about the video that I have shown to you, one or two of you can give me your thoughts on the video that was presented to you. Anyone? You can unmute if you want. If you would want to say something.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. This is
Okay,
Alan from
thank you.
Senior High School po. Sir,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, I am also an employee of DepEd before, where I came here in Philippine school. We cannot only measure the learnings of our student through output or through outcome. We can see the impact of our teaching to our students after they can apply what we have learned in our future. Just like example I have before, since I am new in DepEd, I was assigned a lower section and section 8, last section, and I have this new student who was transferred from Manila. He was assigned in section 8, And I keep on telling her about the best thing that she can help to my class until such time that she finished her elementary because I was in grade 5. I was surprised last week. I received a message from her. She accepted my invitation and she is now working here in Doha in the ministry. And to my surprise, she has a good position in her job in the Ministry of Defense. So you and I have received some best thought coming from her, and it really melt my heart as a simple teacher that I have changed one soul out of so many challenges that we have faced, and it's really rewarding, just like what the video just.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you for the sharing. Any other thoughts? Would want to share?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Hello po.
ma'am.
Yes. The video depicts about the life of a teacher and that teaching is not only a job. So we should be moving beyond, beyond the job that we are having, but instead we don't just teach minds. We also have to touch the hearts and transform the lives of our students. That's all po.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let me share again my screen. Okay, so indeed, we can see from that video that a teacher really affects eternity, and he can never tell his influence, okay, where his influence stops. And that video would always remind us of how, as a teacher, would really have to be conscious of our actions, our behavior, so that whatever, because a lot of times whatever we tell our learners, our students would really look upon us and would always believe in us. In the Philippines, there is this idea that a lot of times students, especially in the elementary, would obey their teachers and follow their teachers rather than their parents and believe in their teachers. So that it is very important that if we would want to really build or to really be an inspiration to others, especially to our learners, inspiring them to become honest, then it is important that we ourselves possess that value and that virtue. And as we prepare our learners for their journey towards their career, Warren Buffett would remind us of this, that if in looking for people to hire, you look for three qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if they don't have the first, the other two will kill you. Here, Warren Buffett would emphasize that integrity is the prime value where the industry, where employers are looking for in the workforce. So it's very important that at a young age, our learners, our students whom we are trying to develop would really have this virtue, this value of integrity. So how do we, as teachers, inspire our learners to become honest, to have integrity? We're in our world today, okay, this slogan or this words or this idea of the end justifies the means is very common in our society today. And what does it mean by this, that the end justifies the means? That a lot of times we try to justify even the wrong things that we do because there is a good end that would come out of it. And looking at our scenario today in terms of education, we see that a lot of our students believe in this. The end justifies the means. That's why we see a lot of our students cheating. We see a lot of our students who would cheat in order to pass because for them it is better to pass than to fail. So the means of passing, even to the extent of cheating, they would justify it because of that. And there are a lot of situations in our world today where educators themselves would be the ones who would be the prime movers for why students cheat. So in the United States, okay, there is this situation where in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in the United States, a group of educators were convicted, okay, because they allowed widespread cheating in the Atlanta public school system. Okay, in 30 schools, educators confessed that they cheated. So the question now is, if those people with authority would be the ones starting cheating, how will we be able to make our students be honest if they see in the people of authority doing the same? Okay. There is this saying in the Philippines, okay, kung ano ang nakikita ng mga bata sa mga nakakatanda ay siyang sinusunod ng mga bata, because they look at adults, they look at us, okay, especially those who are with authority, with they look at us with dignity, with high expectations. So it is incumbent that we would really be conscious as teachers of what we are doing inside our classroom and even outside of our classroom. Another situation in Stuyvesant High School, there was this scandalous situation again where cheating coming from school authorities happened. And this triggered a lot of reforms that have to be happening in the different school system in the United States. So the question now is, if we would want to go to the root cause of trying to answer the question of dishonesty among our students, then we have to look at what are the reasons for cheating. So why do students cheat in exams? Okay. Psychologists and researchers have different reasons why students cheat. One is that students would rationalize cheating. And what do we mean by rationalization? Okay. Students know that cheating is not good, but they would justify and they would rationalize that it's better to cheat than to repeat. It's better to cheat than to fail, especially if the students are coming from private schools where they have to pay high tuition fee. Okay, so they would rationalize that instead of failing, we just cheat. Another rationalization is that everybody is doing it. Why should I not do it? But does that an action be made correct, or does an action become good if everybody is doing it? There are certain moral and ethical principles that have to be followed. And still, we have to really realize, and we have to let our students realize this thing. The second reason is, according to researchers and psychologists, is that it, it depends upon the developmental stage of our students. Uh, for adolescents, we know in terms of psychology, the developmental stage of adolescents, they are adventurous, okay? And they would want to try everything. But and cheating is one of those experiences that is, according to researchers and psychologists, that adolescents would want to try. And from this, it says cheating is directly linked to lack of intelligence, insecurity, low self-esteem, and an overall sense of unhappiness with one's own life. And we know that in terms of our adolescents, okay, they're trying to find their true identity. They are trying to find their niche in the society, in the environment that they live. And if our adolescent students are not properly guided, then they would be misdirected, because peer pressure, okay, is very strong, especially among our young people today. And we have to understand and we have to realize these things. That's why there was this student, okay, who was interviewed. He said that, I do not cheat, but when my classmates would ask for answers, I could not control it, and I give in to it, because peer pressure is very strong among our young people. And therefore, we have to be on guard of this. If our students are not firmly grounded on what is right and what is wrong, then they would be easily swayed by peer pressure. The third reason that says by through surveys and researches would confirm that technology have become an enabler of cheating. We all know that, especially now in our situation where our modality of our classes is online classes, and we do not see how our students are really in front of their gadgets, in front of the platform that we're using. Do not know that if they have other means of technology where they can use, so that they would be able to answer, for example, questions or our exams. So technology. We have a lot of Google. We have a lot of platforms where we use technology that would allow our students to plagiarize, to copy, to directly copy from the internet. And social media has a big influence on this. In a particular survey that was conducted among young people, and they were asked why cheating or plagiarism is normal for the students, because we see that in social media, like for example in Facebook, we just post everything and we copy those, we just repost everything, and we do not, and therefore students would think that it's okay just to copy and paste, because in social media that is what is being done. So it becomes norm. Through technology, cheating becomes normalized because of what is happening, and therefore it's very important that for us as teachers, okay, we will be able to educate our learners towards digital literacy. The fourth reason why, according to researchers and even according to psychologists, is that students cheat in exams because our educational system values grades more than our learning. So the educational system or the culture in our educational system could sometimes be a trigger for students to cheat, because instead of emphasizing what the importance of education is, we give premium to grades. We praise those students who get better grades than those students who get lower grades. And we have to, as as uh, as uh, teachers, as educators, we do not really teach the subject. It's better that we teach the students, because teaching the subjects means that we are so much focused on the content rather than on what the students are learning. That's why, for example, in the Philippines, it's a question of, would it be of quality or quantity? Because there is that budget of work that if you do not follow the budget of work and you would focus on the students, there will be students who will be left behind. And therefore, if you focus on the students, then what happens is that you would be late in the discussion, you would be late in your budget of work. And focusing on the budget of work would underscore that in our educational system, it's not important about learning, but what is important is more on the subject content, or on how on the grades. But we all know that grades does not really define our students. Grades does not really define if our students are really learning or not, because it's important that in terms of education, learning happens really if they know what they would do about their learning. So authorities sometimes would see that there are certain situations, just like I have stated before, in Atlanta, where the educators were convicted of cheating, okay? Because sometimes teachers allow, faculty members would allow it, and they would not care about it. in one research that was conducted in the United States, and when the researcher asked the students why they cheated, they said that because the teachers do not mind if we cheat, we do not act immediately on cases of cheating. And this is where that we have to be guided by our moral principles, by what we believe and why we believe that cheating is not good for our students. So the question now is how to prevent cheating in schools. And let me share with you some tips on how to prevent or minimize cheating. One is, do not trigger the pressure cooker. We have to build the character of our students. And a lot of times, the pressure cooker is that, in terms of cheating, is that there are situations, like, for example, in our quizzes, in our exams, okay, uh, questions are not really relevant to what our students have learned. And a lot of times, sometimes, I mean, teachers who are not conscious of the kind of exam that they give. So for example, in terms of the exam multiple choice, which is very common, which is, we say, is a standard assessment mechanism or methodology. But looking at it, it's a trigger point for our students to cheat, because they can have a lot of mechanisms by which they can cheat. Like, for example, if it's A, they would just be pointing to one or what. They can always have mechanisms by which they would be able to cheat. So uh, the research, I mean, other educators would believe that the multiple choice exam is not really good for our learners, because it can trigger, it can become an enabler of cheating for our students. Second tip for us to prevent is that we have to watch our words. Okay? Our words can be powerful. They can hurt or uplift. So as teachers, we have to think before we speak, because every word we say would always count, as Leon Brown would say. That if we praise, for example, those our students who are achieving in terms of their grades, and then we do not see what happens, how our other students are reacting to the words that we have said, and or we have degraded, for example, our students who are not passing. We have said some words that would hurt their emotions or their feelings. So it can trigger. So instead of being hurt, especially among our adolescents, as I've said, in terms of their developmental stage as adolescents, they would always want to find their place in the world, in the society, in the environment. And if they see teachers praising only those who are excelling in terms of grades, in terms of academics, and they are being left out, so they would try to find a way so that they would be noticed by their teachers. And cheating can become a way so that a student would be noticed, because they feel that if I get good grades, then my teachers would notice me, my parents would notice me. Okay? So these are things that are very important for us teachers. So we have to watch our words. Next is another tip that I could say is that if we could build honor councils, and that we empower them, okay, we empower our students so that they would own their learning, so that they would understand that it is them who really be responsible for their learning. I I I I remember one teacher here in the Philippines by the name of Sabrina Ongkinko who teaches grade school students, grade 5 students. And in one episode of her teaching, she found that her students are not uh, getting good grades, getting good scores in the quizzes. And so she devised a way to empower them. And what was that? They are the words of motivation. So every time that they have a quiz, they would always, Sabrina would always ask her students, what shall we do? What would you do? And they would always say, papasa. Okay, in English, to pass. We will pass. So every now and then they shout that. They always tell that during class. And eventually what happened is that students' grades, students' scores, they were going up. So we have to empower so that they can feel that the learning that they have, the things that they learn, it's their own. It's not because of the teachers, it's because of their own power. It's because of their own will that they can be motivated to learn. So motivation is a very good uh, way to prevent cheating. If students in class, they come fully motivated, then we would not be able, or we would be able to reduce cheating or eventually eradicate cheating. And last is that let's use metacognition. And metacognition, it means we allow our students to think critically. Okay, so it's in this point, or in this picture, it says, let's try teaching children how to think instead of what to think. So in metacognition, we would allow our students to think. We would allow our students to question, okay, what is happening, or the lessons that are being presented. I hope in your school, because for example, in the traditional setup of school, okay, uh, teachers are afraid when the students questions. Okay, but we all know that when students ask questions, this is a gauge, a measure that our students are thinking critically, that they do not just swallow everything that we tell them. Okay, so, and if we allow our students to think, then it can happen that cheating would not really be a resort for our students to pass our subjects, because we allow them, we empower them, and we motivated them so that they could own their learning. They have an ownership of what is happening to them in school. So we do not just teach kids how to count. We teach them what counts most. And basically, we have to show them. Okay? We have to model honesty. But I believe it's not just modeling. We have to be good examples of honesty. And being good examples of honesty means that we in ourselves, okay, we have integrity. And integrity means there is wholeness in us. Because whatever we teach, as I have said, in the Philippines, children would believe more their teachers rather than a lot of times their parents, especially the young kids, okay? Especially those students who are in the elementary. So it's important that our students know what counts most. And what counts most are the values and the virtues that accompanies their learning. So at this point, as I have said, I subtitled this topic is cultivating a culture of integrity in your classroom. So how can we cultivate a culture? When we say a culture, it's a way of life. What I have discussed previously are tips for us to at least reduce, eradicate cheating. But now, once we have tried to do something to minimize or even eradicate cheating, so that honesty becomes the prime moving force of the classroom, this should be a constant way of life. This should be a culture. So cultivating a culture of integrity in our classroom would allow even our learners to exemplify honesty and integrity. We can't hold our kids accountable for the things we've never told them we expect. So behavior should be treated like academics. Students have to be taught the skills they need. This is from Erin Green, the Director of National Training at Boys Town. Okay. So it's important that our students understand what we expect of them. And behavior should be given also importance. And that's why if we are following the Philippine curriculum, for example, it's just so frustrating that values education or edukasyon sa pagpapakatao is given minimal time. And yet, a lot of teachers would complain that our students now do not have values, that they misbehave. One good thing that happened, for example, now in the Philippines, a silver lining is that Congress have enacted a law for values education to become a subject area, okay, other than the edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Now they're trying to the Department of Education is trying to develop the curriculum for values education, because now it's high time that we do not only look at the academics, but we also look at the behavior of our students. Behavior has been neglected, not only in the Philippines, actually. These are situations that we can see around the world. We have seen, for example, how in the United States, there were trigger-happy students who shot their fellow students in one campus. Okay. So I think it's really high time that we bring back character education. And trying to bring back character education means it becomes a way of life for our students. It's a way of life of our classrooms. Okay. Then another thing that we have, if we would want to have a culture of integrity in our classroom, is that let's build the moral vocabulary of our students. So because if we build on the vocabulary of our students, the moral vocabulary of our students, and what are these when we talk of moral vocabulary, what are the most important values that that our students must possess? Honesty, integrity, justice, fairness. So let's try to use quotes, for example, so that our students, let's try to would be able to enhance their moral vocabulary. If we put words, the moral vocabulary into the curriculum, and it flows into the curriculum, then it's so easy for students to understand what integrity, what honesty is. And we do not separate, as I have said, that we do not separate academics from behavior. We do not separate academics from values. Third tip or suggestion that I could give is that let's look at teachable moments. And when we say teachable moments, it's more than when we catch our students cheating. It's important that they feel that we understand them, and that it is that when we talk to them, it is more than the punishment or the sanction that we are trying to impose, but rather we are teaching them that this moment, this situation is a teachable moment for our students, that we teach them to value integrity, to value honesty, so that it would be imbibed in them, that we always try to find situations for our students to understand what we would want them to have, what we would want them to imbibe, what values we would want them to possess and live by. So if our students commit mistakes, then let that be a teachable moment so that they learn from their mistakes. Let's not put so much emphasis on the sanction or on the punishment, but rather we allow our students to understand their situation and learn from the situation, from the mistakes that they have committed. And how can we do this so that it can becomes a culture? As I've made mention, let's try to use quotes, because in this book, Changing Kids' Lives, One Quote at a Time, okay, by Steve Raifman, uh, would emphasize that if we quote, if we use quotations every now and then in our class, especially for young kids, okay, then it becomes a way of life. Like for example, if I would be, in terms of my own personal experience, okay, during my elementary days, we have read the story of the boy who cried wolf. Okay? And through that story, that constant reminder, that constant reading of that story of the boy who cried wolf, it implanted in my mind that telling a lie is not good. So it becomes a way of life. So we use quotations, we use stories so that our learners, our students would find directions. It's so unfortunate, especially in our curriculum now. Before, literature was given emphasis, okay? Because in literature, we have a lot of stories, good moral stories by which students can learn. I have been in that kind of educational system, in that kind of curriculum, where we had read a lot of literature, world literature, Philippine literature, stories from these different literatures, and it has given us our time. It has given us that moral compass to know what is right and what is wrong. But this time, where our learners are bombarded with a lot of information, and our students could not be able to really process those informations, then as teachers, we have to be there to guide our students to be able to process those informations that they have. Okay? And according to Steve Riefman, we can do it by having quotations, moral quotations, quotations on honesty, quotations on punctuality, quotations on integrity, so that it becomes a way of life of our kids. It can change the lives of our kids, of our students. So teachers, according to Robert J. Meehan, teachers change lives because of who we are as human beings. How well we listen, encourage, and help students believe in themselves. So we have to motivate our students. Our words of encouragement, our words of motivation would change the lives of our students. Looking back in the video presentation, in the short video that I have showed you, Mr. Kumar became a life changer for that particular student. He listened, he encouraged, he let the student believe in himself so that he would be able to rise up against all odds, against the circumstances that that particular student was in. But we need the support. We cannot do it alone. From this African proverb, it says it takes a village to raise a child. And therefore, we need the support of all stakeholders. We need the support of our parents. There should be no dichotomy of what the school teaches and what the family teaches, or of what our students see in the community. Because if there is dichotomy, then there is confusion in the minds of our students. So if we want to build and inspire honesty, if we want to build integrity in our students, then we have to involve the different stakeholders in our school system, because it takes a whole village to raise or educate a child. So let me show to you samples of this, because it takes we have to have a whole school approach in order to really build character in our students, in order to make character education really be a prime mover for us to cultivate that culture. So these are samples which I would want to show to you, which happened in certain schools in the Philippines.
The Santo Niño Elementary School is a leading implementer of Project Watch. Yours truly being the chairman, together with the Project Watch club members, entire teachers, pupils, parents, barangay officials, church leaders, house implementers, and the barangay populace will join hand in hand to implement fruitfully the primal goals of the project, which revolve around the concept of instilling the value of honesty and punctuality to the barangay folks, young or old alike. We will strive harder and we will perform better to achieve the peak of success.
Being one of the complete elementary schools in the district of Paumbong, Schools Division of Bulacan, lies a child-friendly school in the name of Santo Niño Elementary School, which strongly supports various programs of the Department of Education with intense dedication and sheer commitment. One of which is Project Watch, which stands for We Advocate Time Consciousness and Honesty. Teaching children punctuality and honesty is an integral and ongoing lesson. Thus, it is but important to develop such characteristics at their young age. Project Watch is the right answer to break the idea of Filipino time. Project Watch is indeed an effective tool to instill honesty and integrity among school children. To spread the essence of the project in the four corners of the school and community, the school conducted a parade. Many children, parents, teachers, and barangay officials joined the activity. This proved that unity resides between one another. Pupils as well as their teachers and parents carry banners, balloons, and a streamer to inform the public regarding Project Watch. Aside from this, the Supreme Pupil Government officers with their advisors wherein they trooped house to house to distribute flyers stating the importance of Project Watch. Project Watch Tridecate was also done, since tricycle is a major mode of transportation in the town. This kind of advocacy would inform not only the town folks, but as well as the townsmen. Undoubtedly, information about Project Watch travels from one place to another. The project would not become successful without the unwavering assistance of everyone. To dig deeper about the project, orientations and meetings were made to the entire teachers. During the School Learning Action Cell, Project Watch had been discussed, formulating the best practices that could best cultivate punctuality and honesty. They also implement the project religiously. Next, pupils were oriented well about Project Watch. They used to do the Pabebe Watch wave, which simply implies that they know the importance of the project at their very young age. They know it not only by tongue, but through actions. The parents of the children were also given seminar. As a matter of fact, a PTA Watch Salo-Salo was carried out to enlighten them about the project and mobilize their valuable support. Series of meetings were made ensuring that every single step and plan will reach the beam of success. To disseminate information outside the school, the Project Watch Club members flocked to the Santo Niño Barangay Conference Hall to stimulate the awareness of the barangay officials and gain their support. The learners of the alternative learning system also join hands in the implementation of the project. The Watch Club members, headed by the school principal, tackle the fruits they will harvest if they would value time and show honesty from time to time. Tindahan ni Honesto, an honest store. Pupils fall in line and buy the stuff they want without anyone who sees them. Giving of change is done by themselves. Watch Room, a museum-inspired room which displays the compilation of pupils and teachers awarded as early birds. Mr. and Miss Honesty, sayings about the punctuality and honesty, and Lost and Found Corner. Watch Tridikit, Supreme Pupil Government and Watch Club members post stickers to various tricycles, expressing the value of time and honesty. Tricycle is the major mode of transportation. Sugod by Watch. This practice is a way to check out if there's a clock in every house. The Watch Club members, as well as the SPG officials, visited houses in the barangay. If a clock is found, a certificate awaits the entire family. A simple reward, yet worthy enough, contemplating the value of time. Adopt a child watch. Pupils who come late receive the watches from kind-hearted individuals. This is a way for them to be mindful about the time of going to school without telling them that they are latecomers. They are given watches to feel its significance. Watch Log In. This practice is done by the pupils and teachers from the time of their arrival and departure. Each section is provided with a logbook for the pupils, and the teacher's logbook is located in the principal's office. Early birds. Those pupils and teachers who arrive the earliest are given certificate of commendation, providing that they value the time. Mr. and Miss Honesty. To recognize the pupils who showed honesty, there is a recognition day for them. There is a sash ready for them to wear the whole day, so that others will see them setting good examples. Watch Festival. To showcase the talent and skills of pupils, the Project Watch Festival was accomplished. Each grade level presented intermission numbers. Slogan making and poster making contests were also done. Balloons freeing was conducted. Cutting of ribbon of the Tindahan ni Honesto and Watchroom was carried out. Projects undertaken. Tindahan ni Honesto, dubbed as the school honest store, which caters the pupils, teachers, and parents. Tower clock, a towering structure showing the exact time. It can be glimpsed not only by the school and barangay populace, but the commuters as well, since the school is along the way. Watch logbook, which is intended for the pupils and teachers. Project Watch Room, which is akin to a museum, which exhibits the compilation of early birds, lost and found items, Mr. and Miss Honesty, and the slogans and posters made by the pupils. Project Watch Bulletin. Each classroom has a Project Watch Bulletin to monitor the flow of the project implementation. Transparency Board. The school has the Transparency Board, which displays the financial reports and other transactions. It is located in the conspicuous place to be seen by everybody. Seminars, meetings, and orientations. This is done as a form of information dissemination, as well as project monitoring and evaluation. Watch feeding was made possible through the effort of Project Watch Club members and assistance of SPG officials. our curriculum integration. Teachers inject the value of honesty and punctuality in every lesson. First place, District Best Tower Clock. First place, District Best Project Watch Festival. First place, Best Practices of Project Watch. First place, Most Active Project Watch Club. First place, District Best Project Watch Room. Certificate of Recognition given by the Office of the Barangay Captain. Certificate of Commendation given by the Municipal Mayor's Office. First place, District Best Implementer of Project Watch. First place, Division Best Implementer of Project Watch. Our dreams do not end here. Our actions do not stop at this point. We will continue to do more. We will continue to do better. Project Watch will always be everybody's project. Project Watch will always be for everyone's development. Be one of us.
Okay, so that particular example of a project where there is the school, a whole school approach, where there is the involvement of all the stakeholders in the school setting. That's why that particular example can exemplify that African proverb that it takes a whole village to educate a child. And more important is that as teachers, we cannot give what we do not have. If we would want to build a culture of honesty and integrity, then it should be in us. We should be able to exemplify, as your school principal made mention, it should be within us. We should be the ones who would be exemplifying those values, because we cannot tell our students to be honest if we ourselves are not honest. We cannot ask our students to have integrity if we do ourselves do not have integrity. So we cannot give what we do not have. So let me share with you this particular video as a final point. This is a story of the athlete in 1992 Barcelona Olympics by the name of Derek Redmond. So he was a front runner, okay? And as he was running, so he was favored to win the 400-meter race in the Barcelona Summer Olympics. But there was a disappointment that came about 250 meters from the finish line. So you would see in that video, okay, he fell down because his hamstring tore, so he hobbled into a halt and then fell to the ground in pain.
Then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come.
And so a stretcher bearers made their way over to him. So because he had to decide. But despite the pain, so he stood up and began to hobble along the track. And I would want you to look at the video closely. Because as he was holding a large man pushed through the crowds, fighting back the security, that man was his father. So there was that large man Okay? Crime was being stopped by the security, but did not allow it. Now, Derek saw his father. He said, you don't have to do this, he told his son. But the son said, yes, I have to do it. Then the father said, who would want to do it then? We do it together. We're going to finish this together. So the father wrapped his arms around his son and helped him hobble through the crowd.
On your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me
But it's short before the finish line, the father let go of his son. And so the son completed the race. Crowd stood up, clapping. Derek had won everybody in the first place, but he managed to finish the race. Despite the pain, despite the tears, he was determined to keep on.
You raise me
Demonstrated
up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You
was the
raise
pain
me
on the
up
child's face.
to
His
more
son was
than
hurt,
I
but wanted to
can
finish the race.
be.
So the father came to him. The same way as
You
for us
raise
as
me
teachers,
up
we see
to
our students
more than
failing, and
I
our students are looking
can
for someone who could carry them along the way so that they would be able to finish their lessons, they would be able to finish their studies. So how do we see our students? They have committed mistakes. They might have committed wrongdoings. They might have cheated, but they are looking for heroes. Would we fail our students? That's why it's very important for us as teachers, because teaching is not just a profession. Teaching is a mission and a vocation. For to teach is really to touch lives forever. Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. God bless us all. So these are my references.
Thank you for that very eye-opening talk, Sir Wendell. Can we all please give him a heart reaction po? Okay, now it is time to entertain some questions from the audience. Please feel free to leave any concerns using the chat box. Last call po. If there are no more concerns, we will proceed po. You may leave your concerns in the chat box. Okay, if there are no concerns po, let us proceed to the awarding of certificate. May I call on our VP OSA, Ma'am Melissa R. Montaire, to do the honors po.
Certificate of appreciation is presented to Dr. Wendell C. Cabrera for sharing his expertise as a resource speaker in the Discipline Week online seminar entitled Inspiring Honesty, Putting Forward Integrity and Probity, held on August 4, 2021. Given this 4th day of August 2021 at Philippine School Doha, Doha, State of Qatar. Signed, Myla P. Cola, Prefect of Discipline. Yours truly, Melissa R. Montaire, VP OSA, and our school principal, Dr. Alexander S. Acosta. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful insights.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations and thank you again, Mr. Cabrera. We are very delighted to have you here with us today. As this program comes to an end, let us hear from our very own Prefect of Discipline, Mrs. Myla P. Kula, to give the closing remarks for this program.
Yes, and good afternoon to all of you. This seminar can be considered an effective way for our department in handling students' discipline and establish a smooth relationship with the teachers. I would like to grab this opportunity to thank the academic department heads and teachers who are the partners of the Prefect of Discipline in handling students' discipline concerns. Finally, on behalf of the Prefect of Discipline's office under the Office of Student Affairs, I would like to express my appreciation. To all the participants, teaching and non-teaching, Speaker Dr. Cabrera, thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise with us. HR team headed by Engineer Jefferson Bismonte for accepting our request to be our partners in this seminar. Enya, our Peace and Boy Ambassadress for technical support. Teacher Monet, our faculty consultant, information of discipline for reviewing and evaluating the POD programs every year. Link, headed by Mrs. Elena Castro. And of course, to our dear Vice Principal of Student Affairs, Mrs. Melissa Montaire, and our School Principal, Dr. Alexander S. Acosta, for the full support and approval of this program. I would like to close my remarks and officially announce the end of this seminar. Thank you for your attention and stay safe.
Thank you, Ma'am Myla, and thank you everyone for taking the time to attend this seminar with us. I hope that this experience was a fruitful one so that we can all become stewards of honesty and integrity. Once again, I am Enya Lardizabal, now saying goodbye and see you all again next time. Thank you po.
Thank
You may now leave the meeting po.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
po. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Dr.
Dr.
Cabrera, for sharing your time. Thank you so much. And I hope the
Thank you very
teachers
much.
are
My
now
pleasure.
taking part of your role to concretize what Dr. Cabrera is sharing with us.
Thank you. Congratulations,
Thank
Miss
you,
Myla, Miss Mel, and Enya. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, Sir Eslem. Thank you. Jaja.
Congratulations po. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you, Doc Ja.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, SSG. Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Enya.
Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
so we have, ano na lang po, we have one more activity, ma'am, for this month.
Two more. two more.
Oh,
Yung sa senior high school na essay at saka yung sa junior
Opo.
na infographics.
Sa September naman po yun.
September.
Sige po. Thank you. I-end ko na po ito. Okay. Enya, thank you so much, Enya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations, Enya, Teacher Mai. Thank
Thank you din
you.
po.